Michael Schmedeke. I'm an internet marketing expert with Kutenda, and when I'm not DJing for millions of adoring fans in Europe, I like to talk about forum auto-response. Alright, today we're going to talk about forum auto-response. And to give you a high-level overview of what forum auto-response is, it's essentially the cross-section of email marketing that involves actions coming from a forum and going into the email marketing tool for either a nurture, which is a multi-step, and a sales automation campaign, which is also a multi-step campaign. And essentially this is stringing multiple emails together that happen with a delay, or maybe send immediately for the first one and then delays after that, that essentially automate your email marketing campaign over time. So as soon as somebody fills out a form, they get put in that campaign and they go through the life of that campaign. This is really a large opportunity for everyone using it. This is what the big corporations use. And it really powers your sales cycle. So all the people that drop off along the way, you're still communicating with them, and more importantly, you're still communicating with them about the things that they're interested in. Typically when you just run single campaigns and you're just sending out email blasts kind of one at a time, you don't get the chance to really segment that message out to your users. Once you have this scenario in place, you get to consistently message about the things that they want to hear about, and that allows them to stay within the sales cycle and within the conversion cycle for a lot longer amount of time. So first we'll start off with a form submission that would go to a single response. You might use this for a confirmation, a thank you, or response time. Really focus in on the response time. This might be for something like a support call or customer service call, or maybe a quote, when you basically want to let them know that you're going to respond to the contents of that form within a certain amount of time. The confirmation and the thank you really should launch you into this nurture and sales automation steps, because you've already captured that customer. Now it's time to market to them. If you just send out a confirmation or a thank you, you're really missing 90% of the game at that point. So we'll move on to the nurture. So if somebody fills out a form and gets put into a nurture campaign, and this can be called anything from a nurture campaign, a drip campaign, to a multi-step campaign. I like the term nurture because that's really what you're doing. You're nurturing your customer through the sales cycle and through the conversion process, so ultimately they convert. So again, you'll use this for initial confirmation. So you set up an email that would essentially send them within, if not seconds of sending the form data through, within minutes or maybe a half hour. Keep in mind that the golden number for kind of speaking with a client or communicating with a client within that lead process is about a half hour, ideally under 20 minutes, but your conversion rate goes down drastically after that. So getting out that first email and that first communication is absolutely imperative. So after that initial confirmation, you'd go through the marketing sequence. Now, the beauty of this is that through this marketing sequence, you can take it a next step and use implied segmentation to essentially market or create that marketing sequence around what they're actually submitting for on the form. So that might be, a certain product or service that you sell, and because you captured them on a form on that page, that gives you the opportunity to drop them into a marketing sequence that has that segmentation and has that level of communication that is specific to exactly what they want. You're not sending them out irrelevant communications about maybe other products or services you might have. That should substantially increase your conversion process, or your conversion percentage, and increase the amount of sales ultimately you get through. You can also use it for an informational sequence, keeping in mind that no sequence is ever strictly informational. So this might be a newsletter This might be kind of based around maybe they downloaded a white paper after that form, and you're kind of doing a little bit of thought leadership with them and trying to keep them educated on what they were interested in to begin with. But again, back to the marketing sequence, you always want to make sure that conversion points are close in hand and all of those information points, and that you're really driving them back to that website to take that next step that you want them to take within your sales cycle. The next tool is retention. A retention sequence is incredibly powerful. Maybe your business, you sell someone something, but there's a delay between sales and delivery, and you're noticing that there's drop-off between when you actually sell that product and when it's delivered. So maybe only 80% of your customers actually are customers by the time you get to the delivery process, because 20% have dropped out. You can also use your form auto response and this kind of sequenced email to make sure that they're deep inside of your retention program, and that'll reduce the amount of drop-off that you might have within that process. The next thing might be that maybe they signed up for, learning about discounts and coupons and promotions that you're running. So you can use an ongoing promotion sequence where maybe you pre-program out monthly emails that essentially provide a coupon or a discount level to your customer that might kind of go maybe a month at a time or something of that nature. And what that does is essentially that allows you to, once you have the customer, to consistently get them to convert over and over again. The next thing is that it allows for multiple sales cycles. Essentially, what happens with most businesses is that you've got the quick close and the long close. The quick close is pretty self-explanatory. They're going to be in and out of this nurture sequence, and you're going to have them as a customer. But where most businesses fall short is that long close. That long sales cycle, that customer that's going to take 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year to convert. The whole point of the nurture campaign is to make sure that you're always on top of mind for your customer. And you're always giving them those links and those conversion points to get back to your website and convert. The last section is the sales automation section. Sales automation is essentially taking your sales process and automating it. So maybe you have a certain kind of set sequence that all your salespeople have to go through when they get a lead in. Well, what this does is by using the form auto response, you can actually automate those touch points. So they might have a phone call on day 1, and then on day 2, you use the form auto response sequence to set up an email kind of confirming that same topic that you have in that sales script for that call. And what this does is this reduces labor costs, right? You've got less people typing and sending emails, and you've got more people with feet on the street making phone calls, talking to your customers, or your potential customers, and really making that sales cycle hum. This is really where a lot of the big companies get into this, is it really allows you to maximize the output of your sales force and really make sure that they're bringing in new leads and that your automation processes are doing the rest for you. The other thing is the consistent message, right? So your salespeople aren't going to know about, how to email, with the proper optimization for conversion and kind of messaging. So what your marketing department ultimately wants the customer to hear, what you ultimately want to hear or have the customer hear as the marketer or the business owner. So this allows you to remove kind of any messaging gaps that might happen along the way within those emails, and it allows you to obviously optimize those messages for conversion. And then the last thing is that it empowers online conversion. So by emailing and consistently speaking with your customer via email using this process, you're really allowing them to get back and do what the online process is really all about, which is allowing them to convert online. And allowing them to move through your entire sales cycle online and really powering through that. So that's it for Form Auto Response. Have a good day, and I'll be talking to you later.